The day my father died, I didn't just lose my dad. I lost the only person who had ever protected me. Before his funeral flowers had even dried, my stepmother looked me straight in the eyes and said something that left everyone speechless. I want the house, the business, the estate, everything. My lawyer slammed his hand on the table. You can't let her do this. But I shocked everyone with just 6 words. Give it all to her. People thought I had lost my mind. Friends stopped calling. Family whispered that I was weak. Even the judge looked confused when I signed every paper without a single argument. My stepmother smiled like she'd already won. But she had no idea. The documents she fought so hard to get would become the biggest nightmare of her life. And the moment her own lawyer realized the truth, his face turned completely white. Stay until the end. Because what happened inside that courtroom changed every single life forever. My name is Michael. Growing up, my father built one of the largest construction companies in our city. He worked day and night, turning a small family business into a multi-million-dollar empire. After my mother passed away, Dad married Linda. At first she acted kind. She baked cookies. She called me son. She smiled whenever Dad was around. But the moment he left the room, everything changed. She constantly reminded me that I wasn't important anymore. She told the staff to ignore me. She slowly pushed every trusted employee out of the company and replaced them with people loyal only to her. Dad never noticed. Or maybe he refused to believe it. Years passed. I left home and started my own modest career because I wanted to prove I could succeed without my father's money. Then one night, the phone rang. Dad had suffered a sudden heart attack. He never woke up. I barely had time to grieve before Linda called an emergency family meeting. She didn't cry. She didn't talk about Dad. Instead, she placed a folder on the table. The company belongs to me now. Everyone stared in silence. She demanded the mansion, the vacation homes, the investment accounts, even my father's personal watch collection. She wanted every single thing. My lawyer reviewed the documents and whispered, "We can destroy her in court. There are several legal arguments. We'll win." I looked at him, then quietly said, "No." He thought I hadn't understood. "You don't get it," he insisted. "She's trying to take everything." I smiled. "I know. Give it all to her." The courtroom became the center of gossip for months. Newspapers called me foolish. Business partners said I had no backbone. Linda celebrated every hearing. She arrived wearing expensive designer clothes and laughed every time she saw me. Her confidence grew with every passing week. Finally, the last hearing arrived. Everyone expected a dramatic fight. Instead, I stood up, picked up the documents, and signed every page. Gasps filled the courtroom. Linda couldn't hide her smile. She whispered, "I knew you'd quit." Then, her lawyer suddenly froze. His smile disappeared. He flipped through the final documents again and again. His hands started shaking. Linda noticed. "What's wrong?" He didn't answer. Instead, he leaned toward her and whispered something that changed everything. Her face lost all color. She grabbed the papers herself. Hidden deep inside the financial disclosures was something my father had kept completely private. The company wasn't the treasure everyone believed. It was drowning in debt, massive business loans, pending lawsuits, government tax investigations, unfinished contracts worth millions. The company needed enormous cash injections just to survive another year. The beautiful mansion had multiple mortgages. Several luxury cars were leased. The estate looked rich, but it was carrying crushing financial obligations. Dad had planned to restructure everything before he died. No one knew, except me, because months before his death, he had finally trusted me with every confidential document. He told me, "People see wealth. Very few understand responsibility." He asked me one question. "If something happens to me, would you protect the people who work here?" I promised I would. That promise became more valuable than any inheritance. While Linda fought over buildings, I quietly purchased the healthiest parts of the business from independent investors before court even began. I built a completely new company. The loyal employees joined me. The best clients followed. The skilled managers came too. Everything profitable had already moved. What Linda received was only the legal responsibility for everything that remained. Within months, creditors demanded payment. Banks refused extensions. Luxury properties entered foreclosure. Court cases multiplied. Her expensive lifestyle disappeared almost overnight. One afternoon, she came to my office. For the first time, there were no designer clothes, no expensive jewelry, no confidence, only regret. "I thought you were stupid," she admitted. I simply replied, "No, you confused ownership with value." She asked for help. I looked through the glass walls of my office where hundreds of employees were working, the same employees Dad had asked me to protect. "I already kept my promise," I said quietly. Then I wished her well and walked away. Years later, people still ask why I surrendered everything. The answer is simple. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't winning the fight. It's knowing which battle is worth fighting. Greed always focuses on what shines today. Wisdom looks at what will still matter tomorrow. My stepmother won the inheritance, but I inherited my father's vision, his people, and his values. Money can disappear. Buildings can collapse. Businesses can fail. But integrity, patience, and smart decisions create a future no one can steal. Sometimes letting someone think they've won is the smartest move you'll ever make. Years have passed since that courtroom hearing, but I still think about my father almost every day. Not because of the wealth he left behind, but because of the lesson he unknowingly gave me. People often believe success is measured by how much you own. My father taught me that real success is measured by how many lives you protect along the way. The employees who once feared losing their jobs are now raising families because our new company survived. The clients who trusted my father continued to trust us because we honored every promise he made. The reputation he spent a lifetime building didn't disappear with his death. It lived on through every honest decision we made afterward. As for Linda, I never celebrated her downfall. Revenge may feel satisfying for a moment, but peace lasts much longer. One day, I received a short handwritten letter from her. It simply said, "I spent years chasing things that were never truly mine. By the time I understood what your father was trying to build, it was already too late." I folded the letter, placed it inside my father's old desk, and never spoke about it again. Because some apologies don't erase the past. They simply remind us how expensive greed can become. If my father were here today, I don't think he'd be proud that I outsmarted someone in court. I think he'd be proud that I kept my promise, that I chose responsibility over revenge, that I protected the people who depended on us, and that I never allowed anger to decide my future. If this story teaches us anything, it's this. Life will always test your character before it rewards your patience. People may laugh when you stay silent. They may call you weak when you refuse to fight, but never confuse silence with surrender. Sometimes the strongest move is the one no one understands until it's far too late. Remember this whenever someone tries to take what's yours. Never chase temporary victories. Build a future that no one can steal. Because in the end, the greatest inheritance isn't money. It isn't property. It isn't power. It's the wisdom to do the right thing when everyone expects you to do the opposite. And that is a legacy worth more than any fortune.